call this special called meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. today. May we rise for the invocation. Mr. Arjona, can you lead us in the invocation, sir?
Our heads, dear Lord, thank you for your blessings. As we gather here today, we pray that this meeting is successful, productive, and blessed. Guide us, give us that wisdom concerning the issues that we face. Lord, we give you the glory for what we accomplish, and as always, in your name we pray, amen.
Face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Are we going to go into executive or we're going to?
No, regular.
On today's meeting, the first item is on the presentations, Motorcycle Awareness Month, 2018, May. Ms. Cavazos. Mr. Andrew Cannon is here. So he's going to come over and present to us. Everybody.
I didn't recognize you. I'm so
That's
sorry.
the idea. Whoa, that's really hot. That's the idea, Mayor. When I'm out, it's incognito, so that's the way it's supposed to stay. For the record, Andrew Cannon, that is really hot. I am president of the American Biker Association, McAllen chapter. We appreciate the city, you commissioners, Mayor, taking the time to be able to do this. May is Motorcycle Awareness Month. And we were on a mission, and we do this every year to get around to all of the cities, and we'll do County Commissioners Court as well for the recognition of that. We just trying to raise more awareness within Hidalgo County and of course South Texas. It's not just a Hidalgo County thing, but we truly appreciate the support. We have too many motorcyclists going down. We lost a young man Sunday. A week ago we lost another gentleman. They all left behind wives and families. A couple of months ago, we lost a young man in Mission that didn't even get to be old enough yet to worry about a wife and family. So we just want people to be more attentive and more aware that we're out there, and we're more exposed to the elements and to the situations surrounding us as well. Be more mindful, maybe put the cell phone down a little bit, and pay greater attention to what's on the road. So, but again, we truly appreciate the city support with this proclamation. We know that it carries forward with the other cities, and we truly appreciate that as well. And if it's okay with you, I have Robert Toney with Bikers for Christ say a couple of things as well.
Mayor, council members, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. Your cooperation, your friendship, it means a lot to us. Like Andrew said, you know, it's a life or death thing for us out there. And you know, not everybody dies, but not everybody lives. And when we're on that motorcycle, we feel like we're living. Death is not something we're afraid of. We're just not in a hurry to do it. But that being said, a whole lot of bikers carry one of these. You know, we come in all shapes and sizes and faiths, but we're mostly out doing good things. Charity runs, fundraisers, you know, just helping people out. But at the end of the day, this is what saves our lives. And Mayor, if I could, I'd like to present you with this because you have a pretty serious job, and the words of this book will keep you straight too.
Sure. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It sure will. Thank you.
Mayor, if I can, just last thing, I would like to promote that we are having a motorcycle safety presentation done Friday night with TxDOT, working closely with them. They have a gentleman coming down that's a former state trooper to do a safety presentation to us. That'll be over at Ed Payne at the Buick GMC building at 6 o'clock. So anybody from the public is welcome to please come to that, whether you ride or not. We want everybody to be aware. And then we have an awareness ride on Saturday Weather cooperating, it's rain or shine, but weather cooperating, it'll be a good turnout. It's going to be leaving from the visitor center in Harlingen, under the 77 83 interchange right there across from Bass Pro Shop. And we'll be riding with a police escort all the way up to McCook, where we're having a little celebration about bicycle, well, it's also Bicycle Awareness Month, but
Are you all meeting?
10 a.m. If you can get earlier, that'd be great. We're kickstands up at 11. And we'll be riding out to McCook for a celebration. We have a couple of bands and food and just a good fellowship out there. It's a family event, so if people can bring their children and hang out and have a good time, we certainly want to do that, because I think I speak for everybody here. We're very family oriented, and we want the family engaged, and that sort of drives home even the more the importance of the awareness, is because everybody's got family here. Everybody's a son or a daughter or mom or something, and it's very important. So we appreciate that, and I also appreciate the city. We dropped off how many? 15. TxDOT distributed some look twice, save a life signs. They're sort of the yard signs, like the campaign signs. The city took 15 of them and put out for us. We really appreciate that very much. Anything we can do during the month of May to make it more visible, more obvious to everybody to get out there, we certainly appreciate that.
So much.
No, thank you,
So
man.
much.
Ed Payne, which Ed Payne?
The one in
Wesco?
Wesco, yes, sir. The auto mall at the Buick GMC building.
Thank you so much, once again. Thank you for the book. Appreciate it. You guys be safe out there. I understand that, you know, you know, people out there need to be more educated as far as, I've noticed that sometimes when I'm out on the road, I've seen some vehicles right behind these bikes, like real close to each other. And, you know, that's something that really bothers me a lot. You know, but like I say, you guys need to stay safe, and yes, we're here to help you in any which way we can. Okay? Thank you so much for your time.
Mayor, you want to take a picture so we can put it in our city Facebook and kind of promote?
Yeah, sure. No, we'll just, yeah, we'll sign off, and then we'll get you a copy.
Unfortunately, it's true. Where would you like me to select? He's one of my bosses. I go where he tells me to go, so. When he says, no, this is where we want it, I'm like, yes, sir. No, you're good, you're good. I didn't even see the judge. He just walked in. He's crafty.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mayor, Commissioners, if I may, can we change the order, out of order, so that we can go into executive session now that Judge Garcia is here, so that we can go into executive session and take care of those two items?
Go ahead, sir.
So at this time, on the executive session, the San Juan City Commission will convene into closed session pursuant to the provisions of the Chapter 551, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirements that meetings be open, Texas Code 551.071. Consultation with attorney as follows. The first one is consultation with attorney and possible action regarding pending litigation concerning City of San Juan versus Melton and Hunt Incorporated pertaining to the water tower cost number 7170-30-G. Second item is consultation with attorney and possible action regarding legal issues concerning city employment policies and procedures pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.071. Motion.
At this time, is there a motion to enter executive session?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will be going to executive session at 6:09 PM.
You guys haven't picked up, I haven't.
We're back from executive session at, what time is it? 6:52 PM. Is there a motion to reconvene? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Been carried. At this time, under A1, under executive session, no action, and under A2, executive session, no action. Go ahead, Mr. Juan.
Yes, Mayor Commissioner, we can go back to the presentation side on number 4. We have presentation of departmental reports. Today we have Department of Utilities, Municipal Court, Fire Department, Department of Finance, and Police Department. Every department is here. Should you have any questions for them?
Not that we have questions, I think so we're running kind of behind, but maybe we attended the conference in the island, and, you know, I guess we can have one of the directors that went to the island kind of, what you thought about the conference right quick, kind of summarize it, and then we can talk about the conference in San Antonio. I can start with the conference in San Antonio. I think so it's a great conference. We learned a lot about what water, we look at when our director talks about it, and we think that it's only 1 or 2 companies, and there's hundreds of companies with the same duplicate and different functions on it. There were good classes that we attended that, you know, kind of gives us more an idea of what we went to see our facility and how down it, you know, our facilities, the big improvement that we need on it. And I thank him for inviting us to that conference because it was real knowledgeable. I don't know if one of the commission wants to add on to it.
Yeah, just to echo on Mayor Pro Tem's comments about the conference, Mr. Salinas, one of the sessions that I attended was about the conserving water and using mulch and stuff like that for our flower beds, and I did that this weekend, so hopefully it'll pay off.
Thank you,
See,
sir.
I'm applying what I learned. Thank you, sir.
Well, since you brought that up, I do state that we're still under stage 2 water conservation, so please continue to conserve water.
Yes.
And, you know, and one of the things I want to say is I want to congratulate the Utilities Department for going over, the first time ever, putting up, the fire hydrant. They did it on a ruckus for 3-point-something minutes, even though we did not score first. It was a good experience for them, and from here on out, I think it'll be something to look for this gentleman that they went over. So it was terrific. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and San Juan was the only one that represented
That's
the
right.
valley. And they were going against people from San Antonio, Dallas, you know, Seguin, where there's more money to spend and have, you know. I think so they did well, you know.
I did see it on Facebook. They showed it to me, and I think that's what we need more, our employees to get engaged in the daily operations, exactly like little events like this. And I think it's very important because it actually brings back, and they have something to talk about versus just work itself. And I think it's a good quality of life for them themselves as far as working here with the city. So let's see if we can promote that issue, Mr. Arjona, with other employees also getting involved in other events.
Most definitely. And this is the first event that, I know there was another event that took place. However, we only participated in that one. The other one is a water tap, if I'm not mistaken?
Correct. There's actually 7 different events that are there. One of them is the hydrant hysteria. This is the first time it's ever done at this conference. It is a national event. Then there's a meter assembly competition where they give you a broken down meter. You got to put it together in the fastest time. Then there's the water tapping one where you got to tap the line, connect the whole water line, pressurize it, make sure it doesn't leak. Then there's the laboratory operators challenge that they got, where you got to go answer all the questions for the laboratory. There is the process. Then there's the maintenance one, where you have to go and do the maintenance on a piece of equipment and do it the right way, and they give you points based on how fast you do it and how accurate you do it. So we're planning to attend more. This is the first one. It was what I believe was the simpler one, something that they do on a daily basis, pretty much down here, work on hydrants. So I figured it'd be easier for them to do it, and they're pretty excited about it. The other departments at the collections and the wastewater treatment plant want to get involved, so hopefully next year we'll have people competing in all the events, or at least 2 or 3 more of the events. The other thing we're also looking is possibly forming a regional team to represent the valley from McAllen down to Brownsville, and to represent in different areas. If I can add to that, I'd like to challenge the Public Works Department. There is a rodeo roundup that's coming up I believe it's in McAllen. And I'm encouraging my guys to participate in that one. I know one of our staff members a few years ago participated, and he got first place. He actually picked up an egg with the backhoe, so I'm going to encourage them to participate again. So see how that goes.
No, and the water hydrant's out there, and for me, it's just a little statue, and it's an empty pipe, and once you see all the parts that go in there, you know, I was amazed that you have a lot of components that make the water hydrant. I just thought it was just a simple water hydrant like that, and water goes in and comes out there. And I think so, these videos will educate our community that, you know, that's why it costs more, and, you know, takes more time of training, and for these employees to set it up in 3 hours, did it in 3 or 4 minutes. You know, some did it in a minute and a half, but, you know, not that we're gonna be out there putting them that fast, but it does have different components. It's just not a simple skeleton that, you know, so that was amazing, you know.
Not only that, I mean, that helps you guys to repair them instead of replacing, buying new ones. That really has a pretty good reduction on fixing them instead of just replacing them. It was a good interesting game.
And it's
Yeah.
multiple tools that takes to assembly one hot water hydrant, you know. So a lot of times, you know, we see spending on tools and other stuff, and that's part of the cost.
When is the, I'm getting excited up here, you know, just hearing all this stuff. When's your next conference in regards to this?
Texas one that we attended last week is an annual event.
Okay.
It happens every April, usually in the first 2 or 3 weeks of April. The next one is in Houston, April 12, I think they said. I need to go look at the calendar. And then the one after that moves to Dallas, and from Dallas, they'll either go to Austin or Fort Worth. Those are the only cities that can accommodate us because of the size of the conference. It is the largest regional conference in the entire United States of America that's pertaining to water. The next water conference is actually in New Orleans. It's called WEFTEC. That is the largest conference internationally, anywhere. It's basically what they saw last week, but on steroids. And that's in New Orleans. That one moves from New Orleans to Chicago and to San Diego, because they're the ones that have the biggest facilities to handle the crowd that comes in from the international crowd. I'll be putting in my request for that one here in next year or so. But Public Works Conference comes up in June, correct? The American Public Works Conference comes up in June. That deal, it has some portion of water on there because the Public Works Department in several areas handle the water, but it also deals with drainage and mostly with streets. But basically is the same thing as Texas Water, except dealing more with the Public Works side.
Thank you so much, Mr. Salinas. Any other questions
I have a
for,
question for Ms. Gonzalez. I noticed that you have 2 guys on the brush trucks.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked me, Commissioner, because I'd like to also inform the public why we do this. Every city, Edinburgh, McAllen, the ones that pick up brush always have 2 employees in their grapple truck. I'll tell you why, especially when you get behind. If you have 2 employees, one of them will be driving. If you have one, that employee will drive, stop the vehicle, get out, get into because they're in between the cabs and the box, and then do their thing with the lever, pick up, put the grapple back down, get back in the truck, go maybe 2-3 feet, and do this process all over again. So if you have an extra employee, that employee will be driving and the other employee will be picking up. It saves half the time of picking up brush, and that makes a lot of sense when you're behind. Now, I have 2 employees that have got a lot of initiative, and they're laborers, and one of them is a laborer, and decided that he wanted to advance. So what he did was he paid for himself to take 3 tests to get his CDL license. One test is 150 questions, the next one is 50, and then 20. And each one is a cost. Then once they do that, they get their permit. Then they have to wait 14 days by law to go ahead and set up an appointment to take the driving test. The driving test consists of 2 things: verbal, because they'll ask you questions about, you know, the truck itself, and then the driving. So yes, they're together because how else are they gonna, they take the sweeper, but how else are they gonna know how to use the sweeper if so they're learning because they are on a permit. They're not just driving alone, they have a permit. And then, of course, my container guys, it takes 2. because those containers are 3-yarders and one person cannot lift them. Or they have residents that don't take out their garbage in time and that, and they have to pick up the containers full of garbage and that, so it takes 2 guys, because sometimes it's pretty heavy.
When did you start this process with the two?
I started about 2 years ago.
Okay, and it's working well?
Especially the brush. The brush gets behind, and we need to have 2 employees in there.
What coordinate are you right now?
We're on the southwest. We're finishing up the southwest, and then we're gonna go to the southeast. I have one on the northwest finishing up that should have been finished, and unfortunately, it did not because we had some rain days in that, and they were absent, and not everybody can use the grapple. There's only 5 employees that can use that grapple truck. You have to have a CDL license, and you have to know what you're doing, otherwise you can have an accident.
So what do we do with the residents that are dumping brush out again? Because I've been noticing that you
Yes,
guys are
it's
going
getting
in
bad.
there and cleaning up,
And they're
and I go by within a day or 2,
Yes.
and there is brush everywhere.
Exactly.
Now, my question is, are we citing these individuals, or is there a code enforcer that's going over there knocking on doors? Because if there's not, it needs to be done. It needs to be done, because, I mean, here you are, all this manpower, and you guys are using all this energy to try to clean up our city, and obviously, it's not working.
And you're absolutely right, Mayor. I do have a problem with that. I don't have a dedicated code enforcement officer.
Okay, let me ask you this. How can we find a solution? What do we need to do? Do we need to sit down, with Mr. Arjona, yourself, the code enforcers? What can we do to get this process right?
When I do code enforcement, I've gotten, especially right now with the new enforcers that they have, they do help me, they try to help me, but of course, they're backed up too. Once in a while, the recycle coordinator, or Eric Munoz, will go out there, but he's also limited. And frankly, he's really not a code enforcement, because it's not in his job description.
How many code enforcement do we have?
Two?
Only 2? Is that including Eric?
Oh,
That, Eric has 2?
No, our workshop is coming up for the next fiscal year. And I think we need to have a workshop where we just handle brush, code enforcement, and what is the plan for us to move those code enforcement. If we can have at least 1 code enforcement per quadrant, and then we make it 4. That way, everybody's responsible for that quadrant, and there's no excuses like our code enforcement was over there, over here. But if we could put it to a workshop and kind of bring good ideas to that, I don't know, what do you think, Mayor?
I agree. The only thing, Mayor, I would suggest also is, first things first, before we start seeking these code enforcement at our public, is have that line of communication and educating our public, whether it be mailers, media, or so forth, because at that point, we already give them that option, that first line of what am I trying to say? Kind of informing them exactly what's gonna happen right after that, which is the code enforcement after that. And then they're gonna say, well, nobody told me. Well, yeah, now you know, because we sent you mailers or media, whatever needs to be done, so we can actually educate them first, so we can try to fix the problem by that. After that, and then we have the code enforcement.
Didn't we send them the schedule
That's what I
already?
was gonna say, Commissioner. I put it in paper. I put
Right,
it in the advance. Whenever we have to go back, and it's usually, sometimes it's usually the same residents.
Right.
We go back, we give them the flyer where it tells you, these are the days that you can
Right,
do
right,
it.
and that's the most important, to make sure we get those flyers into those
Right.
homes.
And
Now-
it's on the
And
water
at that
bill.
point, then we go from the,
Right.
to the
It's
code
on the water
enforcement
bill, it's in
at
the,
same time.
It's on the water
It's gonna
bill?
come out on the water bill, and it's also on the website. My personal thing is,
Right.
I think we need to get tough if somebody calls and they say, well, you didn't pick it up, this is the norm, you didn't pick it up in 6 months, okay? And we have work orders, I'll show them the work orders. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna pick it up.
No, but if
Just
if we start giving warnings, we have a paper trail.
We-
And with that warning, they know that there's a fee coming up in one of the next tickets that they get. And then they'll start focusing, they cannot come and say, or they cannot come to the commissioner and say, hey, I wasn't aware of it, I wasn't, no, you already got a warning or two, and you signed it, so, and that's gonna be our paper trail for us to know that that resident has violated that, or it's not helping us to keep it up clean. Because it's not fair for this block that cleans it and then somebody comes and dumps it in front of them. Or, they cut this month and then next month everybody cuts and then piles up there, We're trying to beautify it and keep it clean, and the only way it's gonna help is like, we send it to all this information and advertisement, but with a citation, meaning a warning, we already have our paper trail, that means that.
Well, there is a solution also, because Eric, I have spoke to Eric about this. If we can get Mr. Cervantes to have him send all the paperwork he used to have in the past, and start, he does help. If I send him to do something, he'll go ahead and do it, and start giving him those warnings, like you said. I think this is if we can start doing this tomorrow, it's gonna help.
Is there a system in place where that code enforcement person can actually go back and find out if that actual person has gotten a citation before?
Yes, I'm
Or
sure
a,
they can.
or a violation or warning? So there's like a police department that actually I can look at locals will come out, and they have access to that in the truck? So how does he get that information if he's making contact with the public? So he would have to run to the office to come back to get that information. That means that subject is long gone.
Program that I'm hoping to get to modernize the software, where we will be able to access that information from laptops. So that's going to be in your budget request. It's an expensive software, but the software that we have now is obsolete. It's
Right,
very
obviously,
obsolete.
Because you see, if we start doing that, there's no ways of him finding out on the road. So we are killing a lot of time going back and forth. He comes back, try to give a citation or give a warning, whatever the case may be, that person's long gone. So now find him.
They're getting that
Fine.
new software will really help us step
Right.
up code enforcement.
Okay.
I'd like to also mention what David said about Public Works. I do have somebody that's going to be doing the sweeping in that rodeo. They've been meeting with the city of McAllen and that, so I'll keep you posted, but we're also involved.
Carmen, going back to what Commissioner Ramirez is saying about having two people on one of the trucks, you say that one gets down and he's in the back and the other one's driving.
They're in between the cab and the,
Is there any possibility that they can get hurt when they're moving the truck, when they're in the back?
no, because it's real contained. It's not like, they have a lot of room to just fall, well, okay, let me take it back. They're contained in the middle. There's no movement to the right or to the left. And they're traveling at 2 miles an hour. Okay, so it's not like they're going, 10 miles an hour and that, because every time you stop, you're stopping about maybe every 3-4 feet.
Okay.
And that's why, and it makes it, all the cities do it, Commissioner, just to let you know.
I'm just concerned about the safety of.
No,
our
there's no,
employee.
they've been doing this for years.
Okay.
For years.
And one other thing, with the trash cans, are you getting more trash cans or not?
My trash are coming in May 14th,
May 14th?
but I'm also meeting with Mr. Arjona because I need to get more.
Okay.
I need to get a lot more because we have a lot of residents that are coming in.
This is for Chief, Fire Chief, Mr. Garza. So you can get some quotes on those lights, for the fix of
Oh,
your
okay.
trucks?
On the rescue truck? Yes,
Once
sir.
you get the quotes, get together with your city manager, because I know that you had 2 incidents now, 2 accidents over there on the south side? And the military, no lights? Okay. Yeah, see wonder how we can work something out, get you those lights for safety of our firefighters.
I guess for the meantime, Ms. Carmen, if you can get with Mr. Arjona and maybe Mr. Cervantes and figure out a solution. I know it's not gonna be right away, but this is gonna fix it, but I guess try to get the ball going.
Mayor, I really do believe we could start doing this if we utilize our supervisor. Eric, because Eric has a lot of experience.
And that's what I'm saying, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's why you guys can come together
And-
and
and-
figure it out and kind of assess the problem and see what may work. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
Mayor.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No?
Before we go on, I'd like to commend Mr. Cervantes for the, I know we didn't do it the last time, the Easter hunt that we had for the city. I want to thank you for that. I think it's San Juan Lions Club. It was a good event, it's great. I know some of us attended, and I want to thank you for that, sir. And hoping next year we can get more involved in the Easter egg hunt for you. Okay.
Okay, Mayor Commissioner, the next item on the public hearing and ordinances, consider an ordinance amending the budget for the 2017-2018 fiscal year by providing additional appropriation to the general fund, utility fund, and the solid waste fund. This is Mr. Gonzalez.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. This ordinance is to amend the 2017-18 budget ordinance by adding 177,000 of additional appropriations from the general fund, 27,439 to the solid waste, and 36,118 to the utility fund. This is to cover the 3% increase that we received in October.
The approved item, we're bringing it before the commission for approving, so that we can do the budget amendment.
Is there any questions for Mr. Leroy or Hona? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Consider entering into interlocal cooperation agreement between the city of San Juan and Hidalgo County to provide efficient and effective free library services to the county residents. Mr. Sin is here, but just to let you know, this is an item that we do yearly. This is so that we can work in connection with the Hidalgo County and also with the city of San Juan on the services that is listed here. I don't know, Mrs. Sin would like to say a few more words.
Were you going to say something, ma'am?
No, Mr. Juana said,
Oh, okay,
it's a yearly agreement that we have with the county.
okay.
Even the money that they're providing us is the same.
And these monies have not been budgeted, so we need to do a budget amendment?
No, this is for the next fiscal year.
Next
We have
fiscal
to do
year.
it during the
that's right.
budget, yeah, meetings.
Is there a motion to approve? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
The next item on the construction resolutions, preliminary and final plat approval of the Kings Apartment subdivision being a .905 acre tract of land out of Lot 6, Berg subdivision located approximately 450 feet south of US Beans 83 along the west side of King Road, and it's requested by Barrera Infrastructure Group Engineering. Mr. Cervantes?
Yes, Mayor Commission, good evening. The developer is proposing to subdivide 0.9 acres into one lot in order to build a two-story apartment complex with an entrance along King Road. The property is owned multifamily residence district already, and the applicant is proposing to build 24 apartments at the site. Through the subdivision process, it was discovered that there is a 35-foot right-of-way easement that needs to be abandoned. If the subdivision plat is approved by the City Commission, staff will submit for your consideration an ordinance in the near future to properly abandon the easement that is not needed by the city. The abandonment of the right-of-way easement is critical for the development of this project. This went before Planning and Zoning Commission on April 19, and they recommended approval unanimously. Yeah.
Is there any questions for Mr. Cervantes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item, Mayor Commissioner, is under consent agenda. There's 4 items there. Know that you can pull any item there to make, for discussion, to make an adequate decision on that.
Is there anything to pull out or amend under the consent agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, under executive session, we already covered that. So, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 7:16 PM. Thank you.